Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews has launched Labor's campaign with a series of announcements focused on energy and education. But there was little mention of the state's lockdowns over the past few years. Our Victorian political reporter Simon Loves joins us live now. Simon, who was at the launch?
Afternoon, Gab. Well, there were past premiers from the Labor Party here at the Cranbourne Theatre down in Melbourne South East. It's a safe Labor seat on a margin around 9% or so, but it's one that the Liberals would need to pick up if there are any chance of clawing back those 18 seats needed to form government. Here was Steve Bracks, the former Victorian Premier from 1999, and also John Brumby as well. Daniel Andrews had served in both of those successive governments, so both of the luminaries were here. But as well, Daniel Andrews' family and his three grown-up teenagers introduced him onto the stage, as well as his wife, Kath. One of his kids actually was born when he entered Parliament in 2002. Two of them will now be eligible to vote in this coming election.
A lot's changed since the last time we were up here. Noah's finished secondary school and we can both vote now.
When Dad hurt his back, it was probably the hardest, scariest thing I've ever experienced. At the start, in those first few hours and days, we were really worried. We didn't know what Dad's recovery would look like or how long it would take, but we knew he was getting the amazing care he needed.
So we wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you to the nurses, doctors, paramedics, healthcare and hospital staff who helped look after Dan, including Julie, his better-at-home nurse.
Now, we did see some substantial policy announcements from Daniel Andrews in his speech. He announced that there would be another round if Labor's re-elected of power-saving bonuses, $250 essentially of a discount on the Victorians' power bills. That would come into effect from March if Labor was re-elected. There was also an announcement too regarding Labor's pledge to revitalise the state's electricity commission, the state-owned operator of power assets, and that was shut down by the Liberals when Jeff Kennett was in power in the 90s. So Labor campaigning really hard on that theme, an announcement for apprentices and jobs and a jobs target for that new state electricity commission. Announcements too from the Premier in regards to education, particularly around specialist schools, pledging to upgrade every specialist school across the state of Victoria. But this was really the main central theme and the message from Daniel Andrews that sort of encapsulates their campaign as he aims to seek to gain a third term as Victoria's Premier.
We have 13 days. 13 days that will determine what happens in our state for the next 4 years. And now is our moment to decide. Do we choose cuts and closures and privatisation? Do we choose privatisation? No! Or do we keep striving for something better and fairer and kinder and for everyone?
Gab, there was no mention of the COVID pandemic or the lockdowns that Daniel Andrews ultimately signed off on. So Labor trying to focus on its achievements over the past 8 years to gain that next term in office. There was also no mention too of the several integrity investigations that the Premier is facing at the moment too.
OK, Simon Love, thank you. We'll check in with you again soon.